going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Reggie Bryant and I am the author of The Wealth Journey, and this channel is all about personal finance and personal growth. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what I wish I was told before I actually moved out of my parents' house. Because to be honest, this video is about what no one tells you about moving out of your parents' house. And this is basically a response video to all of you lovely people who have responded to my first ever video, moving out at 18, just talking about what I learned. This is basically like a part 2 to that video because it's more about what I learned, both financially and just lifestyle-wise. This is what I've learned since I moved out of my parents' house. And ironically, I am coming to you live from my mom's house. I'm over here in North Carolina visiting family. So anyways, we're going to jump straight into the video. So number one, everyone kind of sugarcoats and romanticizes what it's actually like to move out, how you get freedom and how everything's all perfect and butterflies and rainbows are everywhere, right? But that's really not the case. It can be great, but you have to make it great by the things that you do behind the scenes, like going to work, like paying your bills, like doing the adult things that you're not always going to feel like doing. And as an adult, as a man or as a woman, you have to step up and constantly perform all the freaking time. And that's something that people don't tell you. They just kind of talk about how great it is, but what makes it a great experience requires you to be great yourself. Does that make sense? Because if you're not, and a lot of times when you start off on your own and you are living by yourself, a lot of times you're not going to be great at a lot of things. And that's going to put strain and stress on you. So no one really talks about how stressful it can be when you first move out and you're first learning, okay, I got to pay rent on this date. I got utilities. I have to get renter's insurance. I have to make sure I have a washer and dryer. You have to make sure so many things are set up. You got to make sure you go grocery shopping. You got to make sure you get your car maintenance done. You got to make sure you get your doctor's appointments in, your dentist appointments in. People don't really talk about that because usually that type of thing is typically handled by your parents. Most people, when they finally do move out of their parents' house, they just got a full-time job and they're like, cool, I'm out. I'm making the amount of money I thought I was going to be making. I'm making the money so I can afford to pay the rent. They just look at what on the surface you can afford to do. And that right there might seem like it's good, right? And you mean well by doing it. But the problem is you can hold yourself back because you're just looking at purely how much you make per year. And probably you're not even looking at how much you make a year after taxes. So then when you actually do move in, you don't even realize how tight your budget is going to be every single month when you're paying for your rent. And then you probably don't want to cook all the time. Because if you're anything like me, you didn't grow up cooking in the house because your parents wouldn't let you nowhere near a kitchen thinking about to burn the house down. I'm still a little low-key salty about it, but it is what it is. But you see what I'm saying, though? You're probably going to want to go out to eat. You're probably going to want to order Uber Eats, DoorDash. You might not feel like going nowhere all the time, especially if you live in an area like me where it like rains and snows all the time. You don't really want to be part of all of that mess. You just want somebody to faithfully bring it over to you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing like going to a kitchen, you hungry, you want to eat something, but everything requires you to cook it. Like everything is frozen. You got frozen chicken, frozen steak, frozen salmon. The rice ain't frozen, but you still got to cook it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to always have to cook. And I understand that. I empathize with that. But that's something that you should calculate within the money that you spend per month when you live on your own. I think a lot of us underjudge how much it's actually going to cost you to live on your own. That's why in the videos I made about moving out and living on your own, especially if you're living by yourself, before you do that, if you're still staying with your parents and you're watching this video, I recommend that you have 5 figures in your savings account. Now, I don't want to hear about how it's not feasible and how it's not realistic, because the truth of the matter is this: you live with your parents. So even if you have bills, you can save a lot more than someone who is not living with their parents. So you'll reach that number a lot quicker than someone who is living on their own. And you know what else isn't realistic? What isn't realistic is thinking that you can feasibly and comfortably live on your own by yourself without doing the proper planning. What that's going to do is put you on a fast track to moving back in with your parents. And that number comes from a place where I want you to be comfortable. I don't want you to be going to work trying to figure out how work is, how to figure out your job, how to figure out how to excel at your job and then move to the next level. Then on the other hand, you're also trying to figure out how to manage your finances. Like, you don't have to do that. Not to mention medical stuff you got to balance, friends and relationships you got to balance. Like, why would you put yourself in a position where you're not even prepared to deal with the fundamentals and the basics of managing your finances and managing your livelihood outside of work? And then on your days off, you're not going to be wanting to apply yourself, really do nothing productive. I know how it is. You're not going to want to be doing all that. You're going to be wanting to chill, relax. You're going to be wanting to watch Netflix, watch Disney Plus, watch Hulu. You might want to go out to the movies. You might want to go out to the club. You might want to go out to the bars. You might want to go out to restaurants. You might want to just kick it with your friends, play the game, watch the game, or whatever it is that you do on your weekends. So you're really not going to want to be spending your whole weekend teaching yourself these things. So that's going to make it, that's going to take even longer for you to figure out basically how to adult. And then you're just going to be spending time calling your mom, calling your dad, calling your uncle, your aunts, whoever who is more like mature and more of an adult, so to speak, that you can actually consult about these things. And they're just going to give you general advice. Yeah, just, save your money, keep applying yourself, keep showing up to work on time. And all that stuff is true, but that's not what you need to be doing. What you need to be doing is planning. Like, if I'm still living with my mom right now, which I am not, but if I were, and I just got my first full-time job, I would stack up till I had 10K, 20K. I think I would go until I had 25K. And then I knew I have 25K in my savings account. Boom. I know my fundamentals are set. I already have a nice chunk in my savings account. I now know that if I move out, it doesn't matter what expense they throw at me from my apartment. I know that I can afford it because I have an excess in my savings account. And in addition to the amount I know that I make from work, I know I can afford the rent, but I'm not just going for what I can afford and just barely make the payments on. I'm going for what I can comfortably pay every single month without breaking a sweat, without missing a drop of sleep. Because I'm not going to be out here missing meals just so I can pay for rent. I'm not doing that. And I suggest that you don't either. We're not about to be eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every single day just so we can live in a luxurious looking apartment without furniture in it. That's dumb to me. We're not doing that. I would have $25,000 because not only after I move in and put the security deposit down and all these other unforeseen fees, I'm going to probably want some furniture. I'm probably going to want a bedroom set. I'm probably going to want all these other things. I would have money in my checking account too, because I live with my parents this whole time. I'm saving, I'm stacking up. And I'm going to make sure that I'm pretty tenured within my job. And by that, and I'm also going to make sure that I'm getting well-versed at my job. I'm getting real good at my job. So I know that no matter what I keep doing, I'm adding value. I'm showing up on time. I'm always the first one to volunteer to do this, do that. So I can keep learning and taking on more tasks at work to continue to improve. You just getting started. There's no need to do the bare minimum. You need to have a work ethic. No one tells you about this stuff. Because when you move in, it's a very comfortable thing. Finally away from my parents. Finally peace and quiet. No one to tell me what to do. And even if you don't live with parents who be telling you what to do all the time, it's peaceful knowing you have your own space. It's peaceful knowing that you have your own privacy. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, have whoever you want over, whenever you want them over. You can just relax. And this is the most underrated euphoric experience ever. Just being able to sit in a room where there's peace and quiet. Ain't nobody gonna bother you. It's just you and yourself just relaxing, sitting down, watching TV, eating snacks, eating food, going to the gym, making your own schedule, making up your own routine. That is one of the coziest ways you can spend a weekend, because everything else drains your time. Work drains your time. Even your friends and family sometimes can drain your time. Have you ever went to hang out with a friend or a family member and the whole day went by? Now you got to go back to work. The weekend done ended now. No one tells you how valuable your time is to yourself when you decide to move out. No one tells you how you need to apply yourself and plan out your finances accurately when you move out. So check the link out in the description. I have a move out guide that's going to show you how to make the moves step by step, financially, financial moves, you know what I'm saying? Lifestyle moves, mindset. It goes over all that stuff. I have it on my website. It's 100% free. Click the link down below. It's going to help you out a lot. The thing is, moving out is an adult thing. So if you want to be an adult, be an adult. Have the discipline in you. Have the money in your bank account. Have everything that you need ready before you move out. It's being proactive, not reactive. And another thing that a lot of people don't tell you about moving out, yeah, it can be great. Yeah, it can be euphoric. Yeah, it can be a good time, a fun time, a great time. Whatever adjective you want to use to describe it, it can be all that. But it can also be lonely. It can also be boring. It can also be a place where you can hear your own thoughts, which can be good or bad. But there's going to be some days where you don't have a great day at work. There's going to be some days where you feel like you're not making the amount of money that you should be making, and now your rent is going up. There's going to be days where you feel like you should be further along. There's going to be days where your doubts and your fears talk to you louder than any other voice you've ever heard in your life. And it's all going to be up here. Only you can hear them. There's going to be days where you need somebody to talk to you. You're going to need someone to bounce ideas off of. You're going to need someone who is like-minded, or talk to a family member. You're going to need to talk to someone who is not going to shoot you down. You need someone to talk to about what you want out of life and what you're planning on doing. Even if it's just one person, you need to talk to somebody. My brother lives out where I live at. He hits me up sometimes like, hey, man, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I'm like, yeah, you got to keep going, man. You got to keep going. Keep doing it. Don't just tell me about it. Actually put into action. And I tell him what he needs to hear, not exactly what he wants to hear, but I'm never going to discourage him. I'm always encouraging him to keep going. And that goes for anybody who hits me up asking for advice or asking what they should do, or just telling me in general what they want to do with their lives. I'm always going to give them advice, but I'm not going to just impart my wisdom on them for no reason. I'm not going to just intrude them with unsolicited advice. I'm not going to do that. So you need someone that you can do that with. It's a form of mentorship. Someone who's already got results, who can then give you valuable advice and insight, and also can encourage you when you're feeling down, because we all feel down sometimes. It's normal. We're human beings. We have mood swings. We have ups and downs, but it's a terribly painful thing to go through that type of experience alone. And I went through it alone. I went through some of the darkest times in my life when I was just living alone, and I had people I could reach out to, but when I get in that mood, like, I don't be wanting to talk to anybody. And you have to be able to become self-aware and understand what your flaws are so you can address them. That's why I'm giving you this advice right now. You need someone to bounce ideas off of, because it can be unhealthy to just be the only thing that you're filtering your ideas and thoughts through, because sometimes your brain might play tricks on you, and you might think, yeah, I was way in over my head for taking this job. Why'd I move out of my parents' house? I should have just stayed with them. They always told me I should have known better than to do this. And whatever it is that's going on in your mind, you want to bounce it off of someone else, someone who's positive, uplifting, and has your best interests at heart. If you just tell anybody, then you're going to be listening to a bunch of folks who don't know what the heck they're doing. And I would just say, listen to someone who's already gotten the results that you want, or similar results to what you want in life, before you go around asking people who are just older than you that don't know what the heck life is about either. There's most adults out here that don't really understand what life is about. And no one really tells you that everyone's kind of lost in a sense. Like, a lot of people still don't know what they want to do with their lives. They could be 50, 60 years old and still not really know what they want to do with their lives. What they don't tell you is, even if you're 25, 26, and you might feel like you're behind because you still live with your parents, no one tells you how young you truly are at that age. No one really has a concept for how long life is. They have ideas, but they don't really know. They don't really know that it's not too late to go back to college. It's not too late to pursue a skill or a trade. It's not too late to pursue a high-paying job. You're not as disadvantaged as you may think you are. Like, stuff like that. Like, people don't realize how good you really have it in life. So when you make the decision to move out of your parents' house, all I'm asking is that, one, you hit that link in the description and download my free move out guide that's going to help you out very, very much. But two, have a plan, Have a financial plan for yourself. Stick to it. Don't deviate from it. Stick to it 100%. Make sure that you have everything laid out for you. Watch my previous video, which is called a video to watch when you need practical money advice. And just set a plan, write it out, even if it takes you 1 to 2 hours. Write out a plan for yourself, stick to it. And once you hit each milestone, you're a step closer to moving out of your parents' house. And don't allow yourself to do it until you get there. The fact that you have parents who are willing to let you stay with them and not really have to pay significant bills while they keep grinding and doing their thing, that's a blessing. Some people's parents kick them out right when they turn 18, and that's a very toxic thing to do in my humble opinion. But, you know, we have our different households, we have our different opinions. I have mine. But this video is for a wide range of people. Some people watching this might be, you know, in this exact situation that I'm talking about. They might be 25, 26, or you might be 18. You might be, you know what I'm saying, just starting high school. And you might be trying to get ahead. Like, what can I do now to make sure that I'm able to move out as soon as possible? This is how you do it. I don't want to hear about how unrealistic it is. Hey, if you want it, you want it. Everything sounds unrealistic until you create a plan and you follow that plan and you get there. That's what nobody tells you. Nobody tells you how achievable your goals actually are once you move out of your parents' house. No one tells you how when you're alone, you just have yourself, your thoughts, your hopes, and your dreams. And if you write them all down and you actually make a plan to get there and you actually achieve those things, you can say, wow. If I would have told this person about this a year ago, they would have laughed in my face like, yeah, right, you're never going to be able to do that. Please, get real. You really think you're going to be able to do that? You really think you're going to be able to drive that car by the time you're 25? You really think you're going to get that promotion? You really think you're going to make 100 grand by 25? 120 grand, 140 grand by 25? You can do whatever you set your mind to, but sometimes you need to break free from the monotony and constant cacophonies created by people you've been around for so long. Whether that's family, friends, they might mean well, but sometimes you need to break free from that, be by yourself, and then set a goal for yourself. And sometimes you're going to go through hard times, not necessarily hard financial times, but just very difficult emotional times. It could be emotional, spiritual, physical, financial. It's going to be one of them. I don't know which one it's going to be for you. For me, it was emotional. But when that happens, you have opportunity to grow. And that can make the fire even bigger when it comes to goal setting and then achieving your goals, because you just want more for yourself and you absolutely refuse to deal with a certain past that you've had to deal with before. And that right there has made me into a better man, a better person in general, a stronger person in general, a wiser, smarter person who will not allow the same thing to repeat itself. You just got to figure out what you want for yourself and then go out and go get it. But anyway, that is the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Reggie Bryant, and this channel is all about personal finance and personal growth, so you can control your finances, and control your life. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.